What's going on, Brookie Nation? We are back with Storybrooke Circus, your Once Upon a Time podcast. It is I, the Mackee Mouse.
It is I, Isla. Ew, that sounded bad.
It's not like we haven't done this before or anything. You are tuning into Storybrooke Circus. We are reviewing Once Upon a Time, one episode at a time. We have seen the entire show and are trying to put it through its paces on the rewatch. And today we have a very, very special guest. We'd like to introduce you to our good friend and friend of the show, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan. Hi, Mackee. Hi, Isla. Hi, Brookies. No, she deserves a Rumple entrance.
Oh my God. Okay, sure. Yeah. Hey.
It's Jordan, everyone. Wait, not to bogart the show already, but I have a quick side story. Our basement, so I'm in the basement of our house, and to run any electricity down here, we have to turn the light switch on from upstairs, and it has a red light to let you know that it's on. And I feel like Uncle Jesse. Like,
oh my gosh,
do not come to the base studio.
Oh my gosh, you are.
I love that. I love that. If I had the right house arrangement, I would totally do that just so that I could feel like I was recording cool tracks for jingles for things like Uncle Jesse. Oh, that's amazing. Well, Jordan, we are very, very happy to have you here. We all see your beautiful smiling face on YouTube.
Say hi to YouTube.
Yeah, say hello.
Hello,
to the YouTubers, YouTube brookies. So she will be joining us for the pre-show portion of our show. We are going to be doing a little bit of an interview with her because our good friend Jordan is a hardcore Charming stan. She loves her some Prince Charming. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But before we get into that, we are going to do our Storybrooke Daily Mirror. The Storybrooke Daily Mirror is the segment where we read and all your contributions to the show, all of your reviews and voicemails and text messages and emails and
we hear
DMs.
From you.
This is your section. This is for you guys. So Isla, like we do every single episode, would you like to tell the fine people of Brookieland how it is that they contribute to the Storybrooke Daily Mirror?
It is quite easy. Thank you so much for asking, Mackee. First of all, you can leave us a 5-star review, not only because you think this is one of the best podcasts you've ever listened to, but because we read it on the air.
Yeah, that's the best part. We get to read your words on the air. In fact, we have yet another 5-star review on Apple Podcasts that we would like to share with you now. Isla, take it away.
Hey, this is my favorite part. Okay, so you guys, you're killing me with your names on Apple Podcasts. Oh my gosh, what are you saying here? Okay, so this is from Nushubibebe.
It's literally just a bunch of letters. Sorry.
It is titled Cute Double Pink Heart Emoji, Cute Double Pink Heart Emoji, Cute Double Pink Heart Emoji. OMG, I'm so excited to find a current podcast about the show I've been obsessed with and have had no one to talk about since it is off air. And the COVID references in the first episode made my day. Thank you.
They are coming after your brand, Jordan, with these cute emoji titles. They're like...
How dare they?
I would love to take credit for it, but whatever Apple was doing back in 2004 when I signed up for iPods or whatever was happening.
Your iPod Touch.
Listen.
Mine was like the spinny wheel.
Oh, wow. Like the iPod, the actual iPod.
I'm old.
That's funny.
Been around.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nushababa.
Nushabababus. That was a very lovely review, and we appreciate your kind words.
Thanks for hanging out during your core.
I love that we are finding the people who are obsessed with this show. Like, we're discovering them, and they're discovering us, and they're happy that anybody is. And that's really why we started the podcast, is because we were like, I wonder if people would just be interested in continuing to talk about the show. And like, this is a show that is 10 years old now. Like, does anybody even still care? Apparently they do. So it's nice that they kind of come out of the woodwork and show their love on Apple Podcasts, reviews. Another place that people are showing us some love is on our voicemail number. So we got a number of voicemails that we're going to bump to next week so that we have some time to talk to Jordan. The reason is because our friend in Discord brookie, Agent Leo, is catching up with the show. And per my many requests on the show, was calling in as he was listening and responding to episodes as it was going on. So he left quite a few voicemails, and he was like nervous and like texted me and was like, "Oh, I hope I didn't leave too many." I was like, "No, this is exactly why we made a voicemail to begin with." I love people like binging and then like calling in as if it was live like that. It's amazing. And he
like, you want to have a conversation, because that's literally what we want to do, is have a conversation. So if you feel so moved or whatever the word is that you were like, "Oh no, I need to tell you how I feel," call. If that's 3 times an episode, don't care. Just
do it. So we're gonna kind of consolidate all of his ideas, and we're going to kind of paraphrase all the things that he was talking about. But we're gonna move that to next week. But we did get a number of text messages that we'd like to share. So we're doing our kind of collection of people's names and locations so that we can potentially make a map to figure out where people are listening from. We got some interesting ones this week. We got 2. One of them is our, what do we call them? Our city, not our city council, our city clerks, our Storybook city clerks, which Jordan is a part of, helping us curate our MVPs and our gold stars. We have a couple in the Discord, and Taryn, who is helping us with our spreadsheets and our drinking game rules. She left a message in to say that she is from Denton, Texas. So that'll be one that we can add to the map. Yeah, that's right. Denton, Texas. And we got somebody that says, "Hey, Brookies, Danielle here from Chicago." No, that's not the right. Oh, yeah. Danielle here from Chicago. P.S. 3-hour thick episodes are best. Keep it up. Which made me
thick with 3 C's. So much love for that. Love.
So we got a Chicago edition. Plus we got a vote for 3-hour episodes, which I'm kind of on board with. I like that we get to just say what we need to say and however long that takes, however long it takes. And we were very glad to hear that.
Unapologetic.
Yes. We apologize. No.
All in. Full send.
What else? Text message wise, we got somebody from a 904 number who just texted podcast pog, and I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's something good. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know, some, is that like a young slang that I'm too old to understand?
I feel like probably. I'll ask my
can you ask the youth tomorrow, please?
Yeah, please ask the youth.
Phone in the youth.
Either way, thank you for your contribution, unless you're trying to troll us and say something weird, in which case thank you for your contribution anyway, because there's no such thing as bad publicity. So our next one is a great entry. I think this was one of our first random messages that we got from someone that we didn't, like one of our friends that we didn't rope in to listen to the show or call into the show. He says, "Hi guys, my name is Brian from Northern PA." So we got a Northern PA addition to the map.
Are you Amish, Brian?
We have a lot of words about Amish. It's okay. I work remotely, and I just discovered...
Oh, he's Amish. Oh my gosh.
He can't be. How would he work remotely?
Oh, you don't even know that.
That's going to be our next bonus episode, is going to be Isla talks about the Amish. Me
popping off about how Amish people are fake.
Oh God, I love this show.
Hot take, guys.
Hot take. Where is it? That's Isla's hot take corner.
Venmo me $5 and I'll complain to you about how I feel about Amish people.
This just in.
Oh man, that's this could be your pop-off sound. Maybe that could be like Isla's intense. I like it. That's gonna be what that is. I work remotely and just discovered your UOAT pod literally an hour or so ago, which I also love that people are like on it. They're
so
doing
strongly
it. Yeah, that he messaged right away. Currently listening to your bonus episode. Okay, can I just tell you guys for a second? The bonus episode was really because we wanted to not have a gap. We did have time to come on and just talk, but we didn't have time to do the full episode. So we were like, let's just go on and see how it works. Fully expected the bonus episode to just be 20 people listen to it.
We thought my husband Bart and his wife Taryn were going to listen to this bonus episode, and that was going to be it.
That's it. By the way, Bart is not married to Taryn. My wife, Taryn.
It was a fun phrasing.
My husband Bart and his wife Taryn. We literally thought.
Speaking of life choices,
I didn't realize I said that.
Oh, sound effects are my favorite part of the show, by the way.
You and Tara would be great sister wives.
Oh,
I
yeah.
support it.
Yeah. Jordan, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, is longtime friends with my wife, Taryn, which is how I know her in the first place. So, you would be the expert on that. But yeah, we fully thought that the bonus episode was going to be a throwaway, and we have got nothing but positive remarks about the bonus episode, and because that was so vulnerable for us, we
take that so personally.
Seriously, it was just us. Like, there was no show, it was literally like you only care about that episode because you like to listen to us, and we were like, I don't know if people are going to show up to this, and they did. So first of all, just thank you for showing up.
Thank you for being there.
Thank you for being
for loving me.
I was just gonna sing that.
All right, I'll keep. We're so off track. Okay, currently listening to your bonus episode, really enjoying what I've heard so far, and I think it's so great that you genuinely want to build relationships with your listeners, which we just talked about. I did watch the show in real time. I love also, this is a text message, by the way, not even a voicemail, a whole backstory and everything. Brian, amazing. Thank you. I did watch the show in real time back in 2011, starting halfway through the first season, but admittedly stopped after season 6. We all did, Brian, don't worry. I can't wait for you guys to cover the Manhattan episode in season 2. I'm also excited about that. Rumple Gold is my dude. Yes, I was a Rump Bell shipper. And then he says, you're more than welcome to reply. I'm going to get into the Discord. He says, take care and keep up the good work. I'm sorry, I know this was a short story. Please send us short stories,
Never
guys.
apologize.
We love this. This is like
send
my
us
favorite.
a long story. Quadruple text us.
I love it.
3-hour texts.
Yeah, 3 hours later. So thank you, Brian from Northern PA, for that contribution to the Storybook Daily Mirror. Next we have... also... Make sure, this is Leo. Okay, I was like, make sure you say who you are. Because I was like, who is this? This is Leo. After he was writing all of the, calling in for all the voicemails, he also left a text about our most recent episode. So he said, this is what I live for right here. The biggest reason I love this show is the writing and interweaving of things we don't expect. Rumple as the beast. Yes, it's that kind of writing that just gets me hooked.
Hooked.
He wrote pun intended.
I get it every time.
Hey, here you go. Regina and Gold going at it. Pretty sure we were on the edge of our seats, Leo, in response to episode 13 of the podcast, episode 12 of the show. I completely ruined the numbers and I don't even care. One of the last things that I'm so hype about, we got a text message.
I'm sitting here waiting. Oh my gosh.
I know. I'll save this for last just for you, Isla. We got a text message, a very short one-line text message. Okay. It's from an international number. And I was like, what is this? It says, hi, I'm Chip. Been listening from Yucatan, Mexico. What?
Wow.
What? Heck yeah.
Chip.
Listen. I was so frantic and I was like, oh my God, we're international. I'm like, I'm so stupid. Alicia is in the UK. We've been international the entire time. But I'm so excited that we have a whole other country represented now in our international spread.
Mexico.
Friggin' Mexico, man. So thank you, Chip, for letting us know that you are out there. And if you'd like to call back or send us another text about a future episode, I have
so many questions.
Very excited. We can text him back. We have his number now. Don't be freaked out.
Chip, if you're listening to this episode right now, do you watch Once Upon a Time in English? Or do you watch it in Spanish?
And if you watch it in Spanish, I want to know how different it is.
Yeah.
Like,
I need to know
as
these
an
things.
Experience, you know?
Chip, if you're comfortable, call in. If you're not comfortable, still call in.
Still call in. We will repeat this again at the end of the show, but if you would like to be a part of this little voicemail party that we have / text message party, the number is 207-536-8512. 207-536-8512. You can text us, you can call us and leave a voicemail. I have changed the greeting. It is no longer a requirement that you rehearse for your voicemail. In fact, it never was, but it is now clear that you can say anything that you want. So that's our text messages. Before we close out the Daily Mirror though, I did want to point out we're getting up some more traction in the Discord. We're getting people kind of finding us and clicking that invite link and joining our Discord, which is awesome and we love because we get to interact with the community back to you. Everybody gets to talk to each other. We do polls and games and all these other things. Well, somebody who joined the other day just had something an interesting take on it too, because I was just like, well, how did you like find us? Like, I'm just starting, to be curious about, are people searching? Are they like out there searching for Once Upon a Time specifically, or did they find us through some link on Facebook or whatever? So when she first came in, she said, again, another person who's saying, I'm so excited to talk about this show. I've been thinking about it for the last year and like no one will talk about it with me. I feel like the Brookies are a very unique group in that we're people who like can't find people to share our passion in the show. I feel like there's a lot of loners out there who are like, oh man, it's so nice to have somebody to talk to now. I'm enjoying the podcast, especially the BTS details. Thank you, because I thought those are boring. I was afraid, but I'm glad people like them. Seriously, never worry about being too nerdy. I also feel again like she's talking directly to me, but it's fine.
She is.
She said so many great production details. And then I said, how did you find us? And she said, I searched on Apple Podcasts and you guys popped up. I've tried a few, but they usually come from the perspective of never having seen the whole show, which changes how you see things for sure. I actually was really interested in what it would be like if the podcast came from the perspective of knowing what would happen. I think it makes analysis so interesting. I just finished listening to the bonus episode. And I like the way you talked about Lost and this show, which utilized the long storytelling, which I love. I just wanted to share that because I love how Once Upon a Time fans think about this show. The analysis of this show is not only encouraged, but it's very common in the people who watch the show to really dig deep, similar to Lost fans. And I just love that people come in and right away with that level of enthusiasm. I mean, it's great. And you guys are making us very happy by joining our little club.
I wish people could see us like freak out.
Oh man. Yeah.
Like, it's not just like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Every time our numbers go up,
I'll
I'm
grab
like,
my phone and I'll scream into an audio message and I'm like, oh my God.
Literally every single time. We do that every single time. Know that every single one of you that boost our listens on our podcast, that come into the Discord and say something, that every time we get a voicemail, I get a message. No joke.
Listen by listen, we get excited.
Every single one.
Every individual number.
Every single one. Anyway, that is our Storybook Daily Mirror. Dedicated to you, the listener. And now, speaking of listeners, Jordan has called in to our show many times. She is a staple of our Disney community, of our Once Upon a Time community. We are very, very happy to have you on the show. And now we want to find out a little bit about you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And we have some prepared questions, but why don't you just...
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you?
Okay, so I am Jordan, and I guess I could say the way that I'm connected with the podcast originally. So like Mackee pointed out, I have been friends with his beautiful wife, Taryn, for a long time now. I think we met when we were in high school, maybe. It was a long time ago. And she and I bonded over being big Disney fans. And being from Massachusetts, people are kind of hit or miss on there. Yeah, girl, yeah. So we definitely clicked on that. And then when she moved down to Florida, it was nice. I've come down to see you guys a couple times. I feel like my trips have become more and more sparse since her moving down there, which stinks.
Well, we had a whole parallelogram in there too. So.
I know we had
a whole
pandemic Lovato. We understand. Padme on Mandala, like we get it. It's fine.
All of the names are my favorite.
I'm broken. I'm sorry. Please continue.
No worries. So when I'm not watching Disney things or talking about Disney things or listening to podcasts, I am a high school teacher. I now live in New Hampshire, which some days I love equally as much as living in Massachusetts, but still like to say that I'm from Massachusetts. I feel
Live for
more
your
of a
die,
connection to
baby.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the conjunction there is questionable. But yeah, I also watched, I always want to call it Storybrooke now, but I watched Once Upon a Time back in 2011 when it came out, and every Sunday for the next 6 years of my life. And I love when you guys talk about like, people had to wait a week. Often we had to wait like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because of a little thing called the NFL.
Yep. That's right,
Like,
because it was Sunday at 8, right? 8, 7 Central.
Sunday
on Sundays.
at
That was
8.
a rough time slot.
Yeah. So I think they would always try to like line it up. Like Desperate Housewives was the same thing. They would try to like line it up with the football schedule. And I am a football fan, but at the same time, I was like, okay, goodbye, Tom Brady. Give me some Rumpelstiltskin, please. Like, I'm all set. I live in New Hampshire with my awesome husband and our beautiful dog. And then we have joint custody of our second dog with my sister. He spends part of his time with her and part of his time with us. And he is wonderful. He's named after the fat mouse in Cinderella. His name is Gus. And the other one is
Gus. Love.
And then we have Daisy, like the duck.
Man, if you guys could see Isla's face right now.
And it's the whole joint custody thing. That's so freaking cute.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
Yeah.
What other questions do we have, Isla? We've
damn.
prepared a little bit.
My first question was, did you watch it live or did you binge watch it? So thank you for telling us.
Yes, I did. I did watch it live. Although I think, well, the last season, that like kind of like fuzzy season, but even the season before that, I think at that point Netflix was a full blown thing. So I didn't watch all of that live. I waited and then watched.
Okay, so follow up to that. Have you watched it since?
Every now and then I will put it on, not even so much as like a background noise type deal, but just like a comfort watch.
Yep.
And then when you guys started talking about doing the podcast again, I started rewatching. And I would say like the first 3 or 4 episodes I was still doing on a weekly basis. I was like, all right, I'll wait till right before I listen or as I'm listening or whatever, and I'll watch. And then a couple weeks ago, I had a day and I just watched a bunch of episodes. And oddly enough, I fell asleep right before this episode aired. And then Mackee texted me and he was like, hey, we have this idea. And I was like, I'm not going to watch it. Like, I just want to, because I didn't know what you were going to ask me. And I was like, I don't want to say anything.
Right.
So I genuinely don't remember. I remember like big parts of this episode, but I genuinely don't remember what is going to happen right now.
Oh my gosh.
This is like the juicy one. Like, we've been waiting for, like, we keep talking about this show being a soap opera. Like, this is the soap opera episode we've been waiting for since the beginning of the show. Like, people are slapping each other in the street and like you're sleeping with my blah, blah. Like, this just like complete catty chaos right now. And I'm so
Which, not for nothing, but this like large, small town is exactly what I grew up in. And who doesn't know that he's having an affair?
Right?
Like,
I had the same
let's
question.
be honest.
They made out in the middle of the street.
In front of like the most popular diner in town. Like right next to
the
the
only
door.
diner in town, first of all.
And I mean, and Ruby's a wonderful person, but like, you think like she's not going to gossip to her customers and be like,
Ruby especially. Kidding?
Yeah, I agree.
The way they wrote
so
her,
we know Charming is your dude. I'll put my personal feelings aside on that.
Although we've come around since I went back and listened to some of the first episode and we were like, oh God, snore. And I'm
really mad at him right now.
Well, David in particular is a problematically written character on purpose.
Yes.
But Charming is, I think we've loosened up a little bit on Charming.
But in Storybrooke or The Enchanted Forest, which character do you connect with the most?
as far as
personally,
as far as he is concerned,
no, you.
Oh.
I really like this question.
Oh my goodness, the possibilities.
Yeah. No, I really like this one.
I love this one. Okay, so who do I relate to?
You got some good, like, you got a good spread, right? So because the town is even the Enchanted Forest, you have enough of the, like, nobody's gonna see themselves as like the top echelon, you know, like I'm the king or I'm the queen or I'm the blah blah blah, you know. It's like
meanwhile
I am
Regina, so
yeah.
But what level of Regina? There's a lot of Reginas too. You gotta,
so that's actually what I was going to delve into.
Time.
I love Regina's story that we haven't seen yet. And I feel that I very much relate to that type of person without trying to give anything away. I very much relate to the person who is trying to do what makes them happy while also trying to do the right thing and then inevitably not succeeding at either.
Yeah. Right.
That's a difficult thing to do. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I also like David, because, you know, there's that difference between being nice and being good. And he plays both sides of that coin very well, where he is a good person. And so he's always trying to do the right thing. And the right thing isn't always the nice thing. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, but wait, I should be nice. And then what happens? Then you can't be both all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do like that it is a little bit complex in that it's not a simple, you know, I want what I like an infidelity storyline is easy to write as there's a villain, you know, there's there's a person who just wants what they want and they're selfish, and that's why and then it's easy for the other party to hate them for whatever reason. And this is so much more complex than that, especially, and this is the thing that always takes me back to, is because we know that some of these memories are implanted, that he really is supposed to be with Snow, and you're watching an attraction that neither one of them understand why is happening. It's not just a simple, these two people randomly fell in love with each other. There's something that they don't understand that keeps pulling them together too. So there's a little bit of a supernatural force to it too, that they're trying to act on but not act on, and then they have this other person that doesn't quite feel right, and they feel like David feels obligated to like stay with her or like appease her, and he doesn't. I see what you mean about like he doesn't want to just like dump her and make her sad. Like he's trying to be nice to her, but in the process is making things more complicated. Like it's not just black and white, and it does make for the story, even though we cringe, it makes it more interesting and easy to digest because it has layers. It's not just, you know, plain.
And it's slightly, despite the fact that not much of this show is realistic per se, I feel like the theming is relatable and realistic. And this is one of those things where, like you said, it's so easy in a situation like that to be like, well, he's the bad guy and she's the good guy, and both girls should just leave him the F alone, when in reality, that's not typically the way that it would go, right? Like it would be, okay, what is happening underneath here? Okay, like let's peel away at the onion and figure out. And like you said, they can't peel it because it's magic.
There's actually no layers to it. It's
which will be exciting in some oncoming episodes very soon, when as this starts to elevate, because in the middle of this whole love story we still have a whole magic thing in the background that's still brewing and still happening, which is kind of cool too. And it's not just that we're not just watching the, you know, modern day drama of what would happen if Prince Charming and Snow were real people. There's more to it than just them.
I love how they make us forget that for a couple episodes. Like we completely forget the motive of Operation Cobra, and we're like, hold on, Mary, Margaret, and David right now are way bigger news than the entire curse that's on the town.
Oh my god, did they kiss in the street? Like, curse schmurse, I don't care about this. I didn't know this juicy tea right now.
I think I figured out who I would say.
Please say Henry.
Because there's so many characters that haven't come yet. But like other than Regina and that storyline that we haven't seen yet, and this is, I guess, like an interesting parallel. I love when Robin Hood comes in, and I feel that his character in the real world and in Storybrooke is a very
very relatable. for sure.
Yeah, we can. If you want to interview me again about who my guy is, we can wait until whatever.
God.
Oh, you want to
he
come back
comes
for?
in
I
at.
think we're gonna have you back before Robin Hood, but we'll definitely have
sweet goodness.
a Robin Hood discussion. What has been your favorite charming moment? He's your dude, right? So what is up until this part of the story? Because there's plenty of stuff that will happen that will be better, an easier thing to choose from. But out of the stuff that's happened so far,
appreciate.
Yeah, I was gonna say my favorite moments of him come later.
they come later.
I guess, like, you know who Emma's parents are because we found that out at the beginning. My favorite moments of him are when he's a dad. Like, I love him as a dad.
Nice.
But
I like that.
What are my favorite moments so far? First off, that he works at an animal shelter. Are you kidding me? That is adorable. What a good guy thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know that
him.
kid that like you went to school with and you were just like, oh, he's so sweet. Like, what do you do after school? And he's like, I brush the puppies. And you're like, of course you do.
Of
like,
course.
What? Okay, fine. Whatever. How he just totally ignored that guy in the baseball cap and just slung his leg right over the horse and rode away. That's been my favorite moment. Just pretending he wasn't there.
Like a true
dude, get out of my
professional,
way.
right? Like a real life prince. He'd be like, I don't care about this guy. I'm just gonna do my job.
Like someone who expected the editing team to do their job. He acted accordingly.
Hilarious. Oh my God. He did do that. That's good. Shout out to Josh Dallas, who's very good at doing his job.
His job.
His job. Very well.
His job.
What else do we have?
So
here?
then,
Yeah.
who do you think between all of their layers is the bigger villain, Rumple or Regina?
At least so
Oh
far.
my-
At least so far.
Okay, definitely so far it's Rumple. And I would say overall it's Rumple.
Out of just the stuff we've seen so far.
I love his character so much because I love a good villain.
Yeah.
He is the best.
He is
villain.
the best.
He's
are
such
Rumple
a
stands
good
on the show.
villain. Yeah, like I'm a villain queen. Like I
love that,
live-
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I live for the villains like Ursula, Maleficent, Jafar.
Ursula's
like,
not a villain.
Yeah, we have.
I know this is.
We've
true.
had conversations about there. So
This is true.
Can't let it go. I have to come to her defense every time she is mentioned.
she's like, businesswoman. Sorry.
The real
Contracts.
Ursula out there is going to appreciate me one day.
But yeah, no, I am a villain fan. But part of the reason that I like villains is because I like to see their motivation and their breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's so hard to be, I don't want to say closed-minded, but it's like so hard not to think about the future and just be like, oh, well.
Yeah. And it will change a few times, I think, coming in the future. It does. It's a little bit fluid.
Yeah.
But up until this point, we've had a little bit of, we've had banter back and forth. And in this, was it the last episode? Was it Skin Deep where we had the roof blown
where
off?
they have the
like,
standoff.
You let her know.
Like now they know, and now we know they know. Like we already knew that they knew, but now they know. Like each other like knows. So
yeah,
it's really. I think from this point is probably the checkpoint to, okay, well now what happens in terms of their battling for power back and forth. Now that they both know and they could use each other for leverage and stuff, it's going to change a little bit towards the future. But up until this point, like things like the political stuff in like setting stuff on fire, like we didn't know like how far is Gold kind of a blue collar kind of, whisker curling villain where he's just like a Barnaby from Babes in Toyland where you're like, oh, he's cheating people out of money. Like, oh no, he tried to have someone killed. Like, okay, he's that.
Yeah.
like the levels of villainy being a crooked business person. Even in Skin Deep, we saw him like repo this guy's van, and it was a lot more sinister than it used to be. Whereas Regina is just like from minute one has been controlling with fear the whole time.
Yeah.
So I think this balance back and forth of like the aggressive muscle versus the psychological and slightly more subtle ways of controlling people are interesting to watch for sure. And it's hard to pin down who the bigger villain is, because which one of those is more damaging? The long-term subtle digs of gaslighting and making you feel, or like the bully. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
I think
Regina did kill Graham, though.
That's true, but nobody knows about that. Not even Emma.
She committed murder.
Yeah, but we as a viewer are the only people who know.
We know.
Yeah. But you're right. She committed murder in Storybrooke. That wasn't even Enchanted Forest. That was like, and I think the first and only maybe murder in Storybrooke as up until this point.
Yeah.
Like in story, also, did anybody wonder why he just disappeared? Like,
why is nobody questioning that? Oh wait, no, he died, right?
He died.
Yeah, they acknowledged that he died.
His heart failed.
Oh, they knew his heart failed. They just didn't know why.
His heart failed. That's still really questionable for a very fit young man. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. What are you talking about? Just like 20-something-year-olds.
No.
Yeah. They're
in
fine.
someone's hand, just drop dead. Oh, man.
And then we're just about halfway through season 1. We just made it over like the halfway mark. So far, what is your Mr. Gold 5-star moment?
Mr. Gold's gold star in the field of excellence.
Okay, hold on. I need a little specification. Do you mean specifically with gold, or just in general?
All of Once Upon a Time.
Oh, sugar.
There's a lot to choose from.
Well, you guys, but I guess the listeners don't know my feelings on Sneezy being the only person to report child abuse and neglect. So like that's a big thing for me. A big thing.
That
for
was
me.
in Jordan's last voicemail of like, did anybody realize that he's the only one who's like, oh, excuse me.
Again, this is a town. Like, you didn't know that these children didn't have a home? Who's calling for parent teacher conferences?
Thank you.
Because we do
doing anything.
We make those calls.
Yeah. We have the stranger is here too.
Yes. Yeah. So actually the opposite of you guys. I thought the stranger showed up in the very first episode, and I was confused as heck what was taking him so long. But then I didn't think that we learned about Belle until like, I don't know, 4 seasons in.
I thought both
I was
of
like,
them.
she
I
comes
was
way
like,
later.
yeah.
I thought both were so much later than they were, and I was like, whoa, I'm taken aback right now.
I thought the whole first season was like that core group, and that was it. But you were all wrong.
I love when Snow shows back up, like Grumpy breaks her out or Stealthy breaks her out, and then they get in trouble, and then she comes back. I love her badass moments. Like, Snow in the Enchanted Forest is everything.
Yeah,
like, absolutely. She is everything I want to be until we meet later. Feminist badasses.
Yeah.
Who shall be named later. But yeah, I would say when Snow shows back up, that is a really big one for me. And then anytime Regina just shows herself on screen. Sorry, Evil Queen shows herself on screen.
Evil Queen.
Just like,
including... Thank you, Isla. Including this friggin' wackadoo performance in Skin Deep when she pops out of the carriage like Kramer.
I'm not over it. I'm not over it. What was that?
Love that.
She was a literal crazy person.
It was weird. It was so out of place. I
love the way that you described it, though. When you
in
were
the episode,
saying, like, when you were saying like that's probably the way Belle was telling the story, because like that's how she is, and she's like, oh my god, I met the queen and she's so nice and she did this, and like
I really do. It feels like it was in her head.
Yeah. But like also she knows her audience, like she has eyes everywhere. So she's like, well, I can't go and strong arm this girl because like she doesn't go for that. So like I have to be her best friend. And like if I have to be a Valley girl for a day, like I'll be a Valley girl for a day.
True. If she was really playing Belle against Rumple because she knew the whole time, she would know the right way to get to Belle's sensibility, similar to the way that the previous Dark One knew how to pull Rumple's strings. Like he knew what would get Rumple to act. you know,
Yep.
and to appeal to his mercy and his compassion. So that's actually a good point. If Regina, you know, as the evil queen, knew in order to get to Belle, she would have to be like a weird woodland creature comes out and it's like, oh my God, hello, how are you?
Yeah.
We're like, what is happening? I wish we got like a little tiny scene of just her in the carriage, just being like composing herself for this performance, or just some little like, I hate that I have to do this for these stupid whatever. And then she comes out and does that.
Even just a literal like breath in before getting out of the carriage, just going.
Yeah.
And
just
then
so that we can feel a difference. And I wonder if things like that get taped and then cut, you know, which is why we do so much research on the production
that episode
notes.
was literally ripped to shreds.
Oh.
So it
Yeah,
very
it
well
was
might
like
have
everywhere.
That was a tough one. That was a real tough one. And I'm so glad that we did that before we watched the show, because we would have ripped that episode to smithereens had we not known the excuses that they had for it being so rough.
Yep.
You know, like that they actually had a reason. What else? What about your favorite actor performances? So away from characters a little bit, and your favorite real life interpretation of the characters. Who is your favorite actor / actress so far? Taking into consideration that every single person on the show for the most part is playing not only 2, sometimes in some cases 3 and 4 different types of personas,
Or 7
once,
in Regina's case,
and Jeannie
Yeah,
too.
she's gonna have so many. I'm trying.
We're really stumping Jordan with these questions.
I know.
We're
I know,
diving
and
deep.
I didn't expect to like really have to think about them. The guy that plays Snow's dad.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed him, and I like
King Leopold.
Richard
King
Schiff.
Leopold.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I feel that it's not common that we see a monarch play a good guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I really liked the way that he played that part. Whatever made him turn on his head and become Henry VIII, like I don't understand that part. But
Right. And that was an
okay,
argument on the
that's your
internet
choice.
of like whether King Leopold really is as benevolent as we thought, because he was like, you know, and I argued that like, is it politics? Because back then marriages were a part of your kingdom's economy. And so breaking that up is not, you know, so like, was he just being considerate to the kingdom, and or was that just he was a bad guy? Like a lot of people are like, actually we don't like Leopold because he's kind of mean, you know. I just Richard Schiff is just amazing. He's like a New York theater, you know, stage actor, just such a presence, you know, about him that really makes you feel it, you know. That's a good one.
I really enjoy him.
Can you see all the gears?
Yeah.
I'm so glad this is on YouTube, because like the people in the video
I know you can
like,
literally see my eyes
can like
moving.
watch the gears like click into place.
I wanna like dictate to the listeners as well. His really stands out to me. I think so. For those of you that don't know, I am not an Emma Swan fan, but that is not to say that I'm not a Jennifer Morris fan, because I am a huge fan of hers. She was
amazing.
In one of my
She's
all-time
also
favorite
beautiful.
movies. Gorgeous. This is going to sound so weird because I just said it was one of my all-time favorite movies, and like the name has left my head.
I know, I'm like, wait,
all
what
about
movie is it?
skateboarding. Oh my God, Josh bought it for me when we were in high school, and like
I'm
I
really
watch
good at
it
this.
all the time, and like
Jennifer Morris.
I love her in House. So while you're Googling that, I just want to throw that out there.
and in How I Met Your
great
Mother,
in
she's
House.
fantastic,
She's
and that's
also
what
in
they
that, yeah.
sniped her from.
Let's see. Television or a film?
It's a film.
Okay. Recent film, perhaps?
No, like
She was in
2000
Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Excuse me? I'm going to have to watch that. Didn't know that. Let's
2004.
see. She was also in
5?
Star Trek? What?
Oh.
She,
I love me
Winona
some Star
Kirk.
Trek.
I think she's his grandmother, maybe? Or
Oh
something?
no, she gives birth to Chris Pine at the very beginning of the first of the remakes.
What?
I just watched it recently.
She's his mom?
And Chris Hemsworth is his dad.
I knew
Tough
that.
life that kid has.
I knew, right? Seriously, could you be more beautiful? Goodness.
Gosh.
To Dust Return, Matricide, The Darkness was 2016.
No.
Amityville, Superfly. Some
Before
random-
these.
Why?
Like, this is literally killing me. If my sister listens to this, she's going to like.
She's probably
literally-
screaming at the
She's gonna be
radio
screaming.
right
She's
now.
like, "Are you an idiot?"
Let's see, Warrior, The Script, Flourish, Big Stan. I don't know what any of these are. Knife Fight, Some Girls,
No. Oh my gosh. This is
Intersection,
literally
is it
killing
Miracle
me.
on 34th Street remake apparently in 1994.
Grind.
Grind. Thank you.
Grind.
Isla.
Well
oh
done.
my god. I kept wanting to say Brink, and I was like, get that out of my head because it's
Mackie's
not,
looking
it's
through
skateboarding.
IMDb, and I Google skateboarding movie with Jennifer Morrison.
Thank you. Yes,
Grind.
Grind. It is such a good movie, and it was
Oh,
like,
it got an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
They're wrong.
What?
They are wrong. I highly recommend it.
A
Incorrect.
Chicago teenager and his friends travel across America to watch a legendary skateboarder compete.
I would watch
Adam
that.
Brody is in it.
Adam Brody's in it, and he's so adorable.
I
He
would
plays
totally watch
the
this.
nerdiest nerd.
Bam
And
Margera's in
Mike
it?
Vogel. Oh
And-
my
yeah,
god.
Mike
okay,
Vogel.
2003.
We have
I
to-
do remember this movie.
We have toyed around
Yes, and
with
it has
a Patreon because we wanted an excuse to like be able to like watch do this same thing that we're doing with Once Upon a Time, but do it with movies. I think we should
Yes.
make this one of the movies. You want to watch this,
Yeah.
Isla?
It is so, the soundtrack alone is unbelievable. But this was when I fell in love with her. So like way back
That's
in the beginning of
2003.
high school.
2003.
Yeah, I was so in love with her. And I love, like I said, on How I Met Your Mother, she plays a wretched character. Not the worst of all the people Ted Mosby dates, but she's a wretched person. And then
Right.
in this, but I think that her acting, I love it. I think that she plays a very well-rounded and conflicted person, and I love the character that she plays, especially because we see her, like you guys point out, like we see her get gaslit all the time. We see her, she has mom guilt, and she hasn't been a mom for more than a few months. You know what I mean? Like I really enjoy watching her character unfold.
Yeah,
And
same.
again, it's not to say that I don't like all of the things that she does. I pin some of this on the appeasement of the masses, what ends up happening with her, and it just is annoying to
Yeah. They definitely, and this exact same thing happened on Lost with a very similar group of writers where they wrote it in a fluid enough manner that they could pivot based on, how the audience reacts to it a little bit. They definitely got caught with that in this show as well. And you know what? To their defense, they are also not afraid to try some stuff. And if it doesn't work, they are confident enough in their skills that they can get their way out of it with the people who are left still watching.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? If
Yeah,
they didn't lose
yeah.
their audience, they because they did it with Lost 2, where in the middle somewhere they like spun off into outer space and we're like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, okay, never mind, let's get back to it. And then they wrote their way back in, and it was amazing.
With Lost.
A couple times actually, where they experimented a little bit and they tried, and they were trying with a medium, a method of storytelling that no one had ever done before. Like no one had ever really done these like flashbacks in this way, and this method of like real hard long game storytelling. Like you're rolling the dice that the studio will even let you have as many seasons in order to pay off the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
And they did it. And so they really went into the sandbox and played around. And then this show coming right after it, they did the same thing. They were like, okay, here's the world we established. What can we do with it? And they really did some crazy shit. Like they really they experimented with, time, with relationships, with packaging of storytelling. We just talked about like making Rumpelstiltskin the Beast instead of this traditional storytelling, like really flipping things on their head with the way that they cast the show brilliantly later on. Like a lot of the things that they do, not just things that would make you believe, but really great diverse casting choices that they made later. Like they took some risks, and I think that they didn't all pay off, but I always appreciate people who will
Ariel.
actually take risks like that. Ariel. Yeah.
But I like the overlaps that they do. Like we'll see more like this Beauty and the Beast where Rumpel is the Beast. Like I really like that they do that. So then A, for them, they don't have to just keep introducing more and more characters. And then B, it's like, oh, wow, it makes it so interesting. Like I was talking to Josh before I came on tonight and he was talking to me about a couple of things, but he kept referencing like the cartoon movies. And I was just like, I understand you were a 20-something-year-old man when this show was coming out, but like I was so into it. And I was like, and you just have to realize that it's different. And he's like, oh yeah, no, I remember like some episodes watching with you and doing this and doing that. And I was like, yeah, but like it is different. Everything is not what it seems. Thank you.
So what I like about these, and even the live actions that Disney has been doing, retelling original stories, it's giving more to the story. Beauty and the Beast specifically with Belle and Rumpel in this version, and then the live action, you get so much more background with what it could have been, what it is, you want to remember it as, other than girl gets Stockholm syndrome with a hairy beast. And they get married. We love
a twist where somebody ends up in an asylum.
Right.
We have proven that time and again.
Thank you. We need that reality check once in a while. So like that's what I love so much about this show is that it gives you so much more, and it's what you would have wanted if you were like watching the cartoons as an adult.
Yeah. And it brings us relationships like this where we can be hanging out at night in the middle of the week and be talking like heady, philosophical relationships. I mean, I love
ABC
that,
soap opera.
Outside of school, you don't really get an opportunity to do stuff like that. And I love things that make you think and things that can be interpreted a few different ways, things that can be, repackaged and retold, and it still work. Like it doesn't, it takes those boundaries and those restrictions off of storytelling that makes that art form very beautiful. The way that, doing a remake of a film, where the, traditional like gender swapped roles or something like that, where you have to like figure out like something like Ocean's 8 or, things like that, where you can keep reimagining the same storytelling principle and it still be interesting. They made an entire living doing that on this show, and I think they did a great job, and that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this podcast, and we find people who love it because, whether you love it or hate it, they did a good job, redoing that. Whether you agree with their choices or not, they did that. Well, this has been super amazing having you on the show, having another voice on our show, having another person to look at other than the two of us on YouTube. Thank you so much for agreeing to.
Thanks for doing this. Thanks for clearing up your Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'm very excited to do this.
It's Cinco de Mayo.
It is.
It sure is. And I do have a Mexican ginger upstairs, but he got his tacos earlier. He's happy. He's satisfied for the evening.
Well, you're more than welcome to hang out while we get into some show details, where we talk about some behind the scenes stuff. And then you can, experience that in person instead of listening to it on the podcast.
Real time.
So I guess we'll talk about the show pre-show. Sorry if I keep looking in this direction. A whole ass dragonfly has found its way into my room and is just parked on my speaker. And I'm waiting for it to fly around so that I freak out on video. So if I happen to freak out on video, it's because this thing is flying around my face. As long as if you're cool and you're sleeping, just chill out there until I finish the episode and then I'll run away later. But I'm sorry if I keep doing that. It's a little weird. And I have to this is where my sound effects buttons and stuff are. So I'm like, just chill. Just let me get through this podcast.
Production notes.
Seriously. All right. So this week we are doing.
The dragonfly. Make him do his work.
Yeah, please. So season 1, episode 13. We're on episode 13. What happened to Frederick? The character backstory is Prince Charming and Abigail. We're really going to get into. So I also forgot to mention, we're going to, at some point, and I feel like the appropriate time to do this would be right before the season finale, we're going to go through the timeline, because the timeline is really going to unravel itself right now. There's a lot of things that start to overlap and bounce back and forth. This is the first episode, because I did look this one up, where the Enchanted Forest timeline is starting to fold on itself. So stuff that we saw in the last Charming Snow episode, so like following them, like meeting each other, and then the king doesn't want them to be together, and she takes the potion, so she forgets. This episode is happening like in between those events that we've already seen. And then in the next few Charming episodes of what happens after that, it's going to bounce all the way around. So at some point, we're just going to stop and go through all of the stuff that we've seen so far and where all those timings land. Because when I actually looked at the timeline, it actually made a lot of sense to like connect those dots in a linear way instead of just like hopping like and like trying to like insert it wherever it's supposed to go. So really, this one is going to be sort of in between the two events of what was it? Not 715. Was it 715? No, it was whatever one came after that, because there was 3 of them. Whatever the last one was, where she took that potion and at the end she forgot. That most of this happens before that, and then some of this happens after that. So you'll see. It'll be fine. This aired on February 19th, 2012. It was written by David H. Goodman. His last one was True North, which is the one about the orphans. That's the one with Hansel and Gretel. And then the one before that was Price of Gold, was Cinderella. That was our first real Rumpel one. And it was directed by Brian Spicer. I don't know why I keep talking about the directors. They're all randos, but I'm just waiting for like one director to come back and to them to see like if it, or one of the core like co-executive producers or something like that do it, because sometimes they'll jump in and direct. But as of right now, we're just getting repeat writers, but not directors. The synopsis for this episode is: with their love for each other growing stronger, David finally agrees to tell Kathryn about his relationship with Mary Margaret and put an end to his loveless marriage.
Nope.
Meanwhile, in the fairy tale land that was, while runaway groom Prince Charming searches for Snow White, he agrees to aid Abigail on a dangerous mission to recover something precious that was lost to her. All of these events in the Enchanted Forest are leading up to essentially like this runaway groom thing of him leaving Abigail. And then that's when Grumpy comes in to Snow and it says, hey, the wedding's off. Did you hear the wedding's off? This is all the stuff that happens leading up to the wedding getting called off. That make more sense?
Yes.
And then all that other stuff happens.
It's a very quick timeline.
It is. And it's because they're only showing us these little tiny snippets of what's happening.
She just waited like 10 minutes.
Well, that's the thing, is that a bunch of stuff, it made it sound like she just went home and took it that day. But actually,
very Romeo and Juliet.
A bunch of stuff happened in between. So it wasn't like right away. You know what I mean? Like to us, it was like the very next scene. She's just like, I forget. But like, it was, I don't even think it was that night. I think several things happened in between and they didn't like, you know? So that's kind of, I think, what this episode is supposed to fill in the gap of. So before we get into anything else, the next thing that we do is we have our segment that we call Production Notes. Production Notes. This is our BTS section where we talk about things that happened on set and deleted scenes, etc. So we can get some more context on the actual show. Some more deleted stuff. It looks like this is weird, and I really want to see if we can identify this in the show, because it says David goes in for a kiss and Mary Margaret backs up from the attempt. Regina later shows Kathryn a picture of them kissing that is taken from that scene that's deleted. There's a little bit of a weird conflict of story here, because she shows him a bunch of pictures that Sydney supposedly took, right? And one of them is of them kissing in front of the diner, which is not this. So I wonder if either this note got misconstrued or if that really was a deleted scene and it was kind of, you know, it was, because if it was a deleted scene, it means it was shot and put into production and the editor removed it. So it was actually taped. So whether or not they pulled still frames from it to create the props or whatever, who knows? Some hidden details here. So as you remember from the promo, we saw the siren, right? And like this whole like Greek thing going on. There's a lot of mythology, Ulysses stuff going on in the Iliad. So Nostos is ancient Greek. It means homecoming. And it's actually the root word for our word for nostalgia. So bringing back from the past. It means longing for the past. It's fitting for this is the magical water, I think, is the place where the siren comes out, is called Nostos. It's fitting for the magical water that can return something that was lost. Nostos is also the title of the third and final section of James Joyce's novel Ulysses. There's going to be a lot of Ulysses, Iliad references in a lot of this stuff, especially the Enchanted Forest stuff. So I had in here that we were going to pull up the timeline and then show like where it all goes. I'm going to skip it. It's going to make sense when we do it in the future episode. We'll just go with it for now. And then once we put it in the bigger picture, it'll make more sense. Space Paranoids. I love this. I super love this. So Henry is playing Space Paranoids, which is an old arcade game, right? It's a reference to Tron, the original Tron, because Space Paranoids is in the, what's it called? Flynn's, right? The arcade, right? It was invented by Kevin Flynn, and Emma's line, "It's all in the wrists," is taken directly out of Flynn's mouth from the movie, which I love. Like, super 80s reference. What else?
Never seen Tron.
Tron is a good one to like see now. You know what I mean? Like, so
Okay.
it's super old, and you get video games.
Can
right?
I watch the Kurt Russell one?
The original one?
Oh, wait, is he in the original too?
So here's how it works. So the original Tron is this Kurt Russell, very, very, very young Kurt Russell, in like
I love Kurt
one
Russell.
of the first mass
Guys,
uses
isn't
of
it
CGI.
Jeff Bridges?
Jeff Bridges. Yeah. Sorry.
It's Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, not Kurt
It's
Russell.
not Kurt Russell?
No, it's Jeff
No,
Bridges.
but I totally understand making the
I
switch. But
constantly confuse them.
I do too.
You said that, and I saw Jeff Bridges' face, and I was like, he's called Kurt Russell. That's his name.
How
right?
are they not the same person?
They
Yeah.
are so similar, and they often get cast, I feel like, in similar roles.
Especially
Yeah.
later when they were like dads, like older characters, you know?
Yeah.
So which one was in Sky High?
Kurt Russell
Kurt Russell. Jeff Bridges was in
thank you.
Iron Man. Jeff Bridges in Iron Man 1.
and Stick It.
Oh, that's a great movie. Mrs.
Stick It
Peregrine?
is one of my
so
all-time
good.
favorite movies.
So good.
Thank you, ABC Family, for bringing me
Amen.
one of my all-time favorite
Amen.
movies. I wish I was a gymnast. I know Taryn was an actual gymnast. Jordan, were you one?
I am a fake gymnast, so I coached. I did rec classes when Taryn and our other friends were going to the Olympics.
Guys, I can't even do a cartwheel. I have no idea how to do a cartwheel.
Gymnastics runs deep in the blood of this family.
This movie made me want to quit Like, I was like, I'm going to give it all up just so I can be like her.
Love. That's
Spoiler,
one of my
it didn't
favorite movies.
happen. I, again, still cannot do a cartwheel. I'm not flexible in any capacity.
I will teach you. Come to my classes.
There you go. We'll have a party. It'll be great. But back to Tron, right? So Kevin Flynn, he's a computer programmer, right? And they program basically this sentient AI that helps run their company. And basically he gets zapped into the internal components of a computer, right? And so they use all this fancy CGI, it's like very, very, very early CGI, where everything in the space, once he gets zapped in, is all made up. And it's all like fancy light trickery and props and whatever, light tracing and stuff. That's where those Tron bikes come from, right? Those have the light lines come behind them. Mm-hmm. So he then has to essentially defeat the computer, the persona of the computer itself, to get out. In the Tron Legacy, which is the Disney one that came out recently, a few years ago.
With that handsome boy. What's his name?
Who's from one of the Hunger Games, one of those like dystopian movies.
He's in Four Brothers with Mark Wahlberg.
It's basically his son, right? So Kevin Flynn's son now ends up with more or less the same thing. The characters.
Oh my God, Adam Horowitz did the screenplay.
For Tron? Oh, see?
Yeah.
There's your connection.
And Edward
right there.
Kitsis. Oh my gosh.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Are they like BFFs? Do they do everything together?
I think so.
They're very cute in interviews.
They really are. Yeah. So in the Legacy one,
Jeff Bridges is in the new one as well.
Because the character, Kevin Flynn, the character, he made a character inside the computer space with his own image, and that computer program with his face
Clue
goes AWOL. Yeah, goes AWOL, and does stuff on his own. So like a younger version of Jeff Bridges. There was a lot of weird CGI to make him super duper young inside the computer. Yeah. It was crazy. So he's basically fighting a young computer program version of his dad, who is also inside. It's like a whole thing, but it's all video game, fan service of being in a computer and like having to think like Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, but an adult version of that. You know what I mean? Like,
remember
it's like
when phones were see-through and you could like see all the little
circuit boards?
Yeah.
Think of living inside that.
It's Osmosis Jones, but with electronics.
100%.
Yes.
It's really, really good. And if you watch the original, even though it's like doesn't make a lot of sense now, the second one references will pay off so much better because so much of it is intertwined. Yeah, it's like a direct sequel. But I love that Space Paranoids, which is not the main game, but it's like one of the games in the arcade, is there, and then Henry's playing it, and then she's like, it's all on the wrist. That's what Kevin Flynn always used to say. They're like, why is he so good? He's like the best at everything. And he was always like, it's all on the wrist, man. It's all on the wrist. All right, moving along. Hidden details. Among the objects at the Siren's Shrine, there's a pomegranate, and that's a reference to the Greek myth where Hades tricks Persephone into eating the seeds of a pomegranate, and then that condemns her to live with him in the underworld 6 months out of the year. That is the Greek myth. So just having the pomegranate there was the writer's little nod to where they got it from. A pause and read. We love the pause and reads because it's always weird for me to think like, who's pausing and like reading every single word?
This.
Yeah, like somebody actually did that. The Wishing Well. For centuries, local legend, I think this is what is written on it. For centuries, local legend has claimed that mystical waters run beneath this great land. It is said that these waters possess the power to return that which is lost to its rightful place. If you have lost something precious to you, drink from this well and bear witness to this miracle, as what is missing shall be returned. That is what is on the Wishing Well. Which I guess some character will just paraphrase and stand there and be like, yeah, this gives you back stuff. But that's kind of more eloquent, I guess.
Yeah.
Some more hidden details. The plants that Regina's watering when Kathryn comes to see her in the mayor's office are pitcher plants. Now, every time we get one of these, I'm just like, oh my God, who cares? Why did somebody
Regina's wearing a sweater from J. Crew.
Abercrombie and Fitch, which is not in season right now. But the reason I actually put this in here is because pitcher plants are a form of carnivorous plant similar to like a Venus flytrap. Yeah, so it was supposed to be like a organic symbolism. Of like,
she's evil through and through, guys. Even her plants.
She
like, will eat you.
Which is kind of a very thorough touch for television. Like that's a kind of a movie film type of Easter egg. So hats off to the production department for really going in there. Speaking of ridiculous brand stuff, right? This is a brand info one, and I don't often put these in there unless they're actually kind of interesting.
I like them because they're ridiculous.
Yeah. Emma's jacket in this episode specifically, because we've talked about her red jacket, that blue jacket that she has. So this is a black jacket, right? And has that kind of fur collar. I don't know if you recall this. I looked it up, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I totally remember this being one of her jackets. It's known as a swan shearling jacket, and it is a real thing. And that's referring to the sheep wool type of collar that it has, really big, like woolly collar. It is a custom made jacket, and it's made by this company in Vancouver, which is close to where they tape most of the stuff in British Columbia. So it's kind of a local business. It's called Ocean Drive Leather, which is still a company in business. It is still available for purchase on their website at a hefty price of $3,200.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. The design is I think that what they did was they remade and mass manufactured a jacket exactly modeled after Jennifer Morrison's, one of the ones she specifically wore on set. And yeah, it is sold out, but still being sold on the site. $3,200.
People are buying it.
Yeah. $3,200. Crazy. I was like, Brandon feels dumb.
If it's real leather, I don't know how, like, I know that stuff is
I don't know the prices of these things, but like,
I know they're too much for me.
$200.
Right? I was just surprised that something 10 years ago that was a thing is like still...
It's still selling. That's what's surprising me.
Yeah. I don't know. I was for brand info. I was like, it's cool that it's called the Swan Shearling jacket, but like also that it's something you could potentially buy if you had crazy amounts of money. I don't know. So that was a fun one. Jim's car...
That's like a very niche group of people.
Yeah,
they
collectors.
Have to be obsessed with Once Upon a Time and be rich.
It's a very small group. It's true. What else? Jim's car license plate. Another one that it's 40F5TH. And I was like, why?
Again, why aren't we using license plates as hatches?
As hatches, yeah, as lost numbers. I don't know, but the reason why this showed up in the trivia is because F0F5TH is Regina's license plate number. They reused the prop and just slipped it in because they didn't have another one, so they put it on his car, and it's the exact same one from her car from a previous episode. Which I was like, that's a really keen eye, man, to be like, that's the same one. That's all right. Hats off to you.
I don't even know my own license plate.
Legit, I couldn't tell you what it is.
Could not tell you.
Could not tell you what it is. And honestly, I don't think it really matters. Go figure it out. Production notes are complete.
Production notes.
No 4 pages of production notes this time. We kept it nice and simple. We wanted some more time to talk to our buddy Jordan. So we kept it.
We did have some side tangents there that were...
Yeah, we did. We did pop off a little bit, but
Listen,
that's okay.
That's why you guys are listening to the show, I assume. Otherwise, you just listen to some other boring people talk about once upon a time.
Yeah, you came here for Tron, right? That's
right? Yeah, this is a Tron Stan podcast, so...
Our obsessive Googling, what is that skateboarding movie from 2003?
Yeah, for like 10 minutes, this is what we do.
And listening to my silence. I'm sorry. I'll be better next
totally
time.
fine. It's totally fine. So now we talk about Lost. This is a big thing. Our 2 executive producers of the show, Adam, I always say it wrong, Adam Kitsis and Edward
Horowitz
Kitsis.
and Edward Kitsis.
I always flip their stupid names. They both wrote Lost. So we have a segment called What's in the Hatch? And we pull out Lost Easter eggs and references in each episode. This time we only have 2. One of them is a numberable, one of them is not, and I really like this one. The first number, I feel like I shouldn't give this away. It doesn't matter. You guys have either just watched the show or you're about to watch the show with us. We're gonna find out the name of the stranger in this episode.
No,
I'm
not ready.
I know, but it is a Lost reference. It doesn't mean anything yet. We find out that his name is August. And they named him August because August is the 8th month and 8 is a lost number.
8 is a lost number. Oh my gosh.
I didn't know that. I didn't even put that together, which is kind of a cool
That's a good one.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, August of the Stranger. Now we know a little bit more about him. I want to know, like, is this an episode we're going to find out more than just his name, where he came from or anything?
I can't believe you just spoiled that.
I mean, listen.
You did it.
I did it.
I feel like once we find his name, his story goes. Like it's.
That's what I thought too. But
so we looked it up, but apparently it doesn't.
What? So
yeah, because he has
the thing, like,
no, remember that because I was like, when did we find out? Everything about the stranger, and we like forwarded a tiny bit after we recorded one night, and we were like, oh, we don't find out until
that's right. When he first came out, we were like, wait, we need to know.
None of our timelines are correct, Jordan. I'm so sorry. Like none of us know what's going on.
Yeah.
Why did
we didn't even watch the show?
Like that happened so fast. Like I swear everything in my brain is like flipped. Like I thought we had Graham for at least a few episodes.
Yeah,
I
didn't realize it was so soon.
The hell out.
Like, it's crazy.
Graham said bye.
He was good.
Yeah. But and honestly, the fact that his name is August does not mean anything other than this hatch reference. So it's not like a real bad spoiler. Like it's not like you're not gonna know anything more than that. You just know his name. But I do like that it actually will link into the Lost thing. Also, like not using license plates to put Lost numbers in, but they're like, we're gonna name him August because August is
that is a
8.
cool
I'm like,
number use.
Yeah.
Like
that makes me feel good too because his name doesn't have anything to do with his storyline, and I always wondered that. Like, why did they pick that name?
And August isn't like a traditional name either. Like it's so it's it kind of reached in the bucket for that one. So the last hatch one. Okay, we're gonna test your Lost. Did you watch Lost, Jordan? Did you watch it all the way through? Did you like?
So I did, but again, I watched it live on Wednesday nights after dance. I would get home at 10 o'clock
I love
at
that
night.
You remember exactly where you were when you watched.
It was a party. My dance
I am
teacher
like this.
would
I am
drive
the same
me
way.
home, and we would get Wendy's on the way home, and then we would be in the family room with my mom and my dad
And one of my sisters, I think the other two were still little. My other sister, my brother, they were asleep. And I was not originally a fan. Like my family would all watch it, and finally they were like, "Will you just stay up and watch it with us?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I saw Sawyer, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
I'm here.
We are Sawyer fans on the
in.
show. We are totally Sawyer fans on the show. Well, this reference. Let's see if you recognize this reference. Regina gives Henry a present, and then he says something to the effect of, "What is this for? What is the occasion?" And she says, "The occasion is I love you." It is a line. Oh. Do you remember?
I don't, but it does make me.
It is.
Inside.
It is the words that Penny says to Desmond in season 3. And she gives him. I think it's them in real life when they're doing their backstory in the flashback. And I vividly remember that. And he's like, "What's the occasion?" And the occasion is I love you. Like they took the line directly from Lost.
I need to rewatch because there are so many things. There's so many holes in my brain. I was young. I was really young.
That's why I'm rewatching it, because like I remember, the general basis. I remember like characters, but now that I'm rewatching it, I'm like, yeah.
We are now both rewatching it, and as we get further into it, we're getting so many ideas for like content that we can do of like linking it to Once Upon a Time type of things and linking it to itself, and we were talking about doing like a spoiler heavy version that we can like actually look at the show as a whole from beginning to end, having seen all of it already, and like like bring in stuff that we know from the ending. And every time we watch an episode, we're like, oh my god, there's so much great stuff you can talk about in this. Like it's really good. Like it's something that holds up on a rewatch, which is surprising. Much like Once Upon a Time, there's a lot of meat in there to pull back. But that's it. That's our Once Upon a Hatch. This is Jesus Christ. What's in the hatch? Those are our two links to this episode. Oh, what a whirlwind. It's okay. This is our first 3-person pre-show, so we got through it.
It's our first 3-way, guys, okay? We're brand new at
That's true. We are, but now we are no longer 3-way amateurs. We can say. Woohoo.
We're experienced.
We've done it. So now we will bid adieu to Jordan and to YouTube. Goodbye.
Goodbye, friends.
Good night.
Have fun.
We'll see you later.
Ta-ta. TTFN.
Hope you will.
To you, my friend.
I love you guys. We hope that you will join us in the rest of the show. Listen to it on your favorite podcast app, which you can find right here.